Means, this is the introduction to the 102 World Geography class, regional geography. Um, I just recently moved from Wyward, been there for over 50 years, to Carson City, Nevada. So it's definitely online. Um, so, if just sort of as an aside, if we want to have a meeting, we're going to have to do that via Zoom. So we're going to have to sort of coordinate a time and a place where everyone can sort of get together. I also have a website where I have my projects. I don't have the projects I started here in Nevada yet since I just got here and I haven't had a chance to update the website yet. Um, the text for the class is Marshall's. This is the newer one. Um, yeah, I hate to say this when we're starting a semester. I'm sort of ambivalent about the text. I don't agree with the logic behind it. I still see the world as being regional. Having said that, I think Marshall makes a very good point. It's a very well written book. It's a very easy book to read. It certainly is relevant in terms of what we're looking at right now. Um, he argues that regionality really isn't what it was even 10 years ago, that you have to look at specific places. So it's now broken down into countries. Um, I think there's a missing chunk of Asia in there. I'm not sure why, but it's a good book. Again, I'm not convinced that that logic is accurate, but I can't argue against it. He certainly has the evidence on his side, and I think you'll find it a very valuable book. So it sort of sounds like a backhanded compliment, but it's a good book, and I think it'll really complement the course material. Because rather than repeating the course material, now the course material comes from a regional perspective. He's looking at it in terms of specific countries, Greece, England, etc. So I think that you're going to find that useful. You're also going to have to be able to access Google Earth. That should not be a problem. Google Earth is even now an app on your phone, though it doesn't work all that well. I actually have worked with Google on Earth back when it first started up, and I use it. If you go to my website, you'll see that we use it in a lot of our projects. So I want you to be familiar with it in the sense of being able to find stuff on it. That's not the same as Google Map. Google Map is a really lame version of Google Earth. So let's go into what you got to do this semester. Major thing you got to do this semester is what we call critical thinking exercises. As we're going through, let's just forward down to the schedule. As we're going through the semester, we're going through different regions of the world. And as we're going through these, there's going to be various issues that I bring up. Marshall brings up a lot of really good issues. So in that context, I want you to basically find something that's of interest, either something that resonates to you personally, something that you find useful or relevant professionally. I don't care. That's your coolie on it. But what I want you to do then is contact me and let me know that you want to actually look at that particular issue. Now, critical thinking exercises are exactly that. There's something that's come up. I want you to have an opinion on it in the sense that, I think that you then have to back up that opinion. I don't want an opinion paper. God knows there's enough of that on the social media. I want you to back up what it is you think with evidence. So it doesn't have to fit what I say. It doesn't have to fit what Marshall says, but it does have to have something to compel. If someone else is looking at it who doesn't know who you are and doesn't care, to be honest, you have to have a compelling argument behind why your point of view is relevant or real or however you want to define it. That's a critical thinking exercise. You actually got, if I segue up here, you've actually got a template in terms of what I want. So there's no excuse for screwing it up. The reason I want you to contact me is almost invariably what happens, at least for the first one or two, is that people try to pick huge issues that you really can't cover in a short paper. So I can tell you, to narrow it down to something more manageable. Otherwise, you're going to spend the whole semester working on a 300-page critical thinking paper, and I don't want to read it. You don't want to read it, so let's just avoid that. The other major thing that you have this semester is sort of a summary version of these. This is the presentation blog. You guys are used to social media in all sort of ways, shapes, or forms. I want you to do a presentation blog based on some issue. Now, it can be something that was based on, one of your critical thinking reviews, or it can be some other issue that came up. So think of it as sort of an expanded version of a critical thinking exercise that you have to post online. Now, you don't have to actually post it, but you have to send it to me as if you were going to post it online. And again, this has two things. One, it has to be fair and obviously coherent. And secondly, you really have to think carefully about the evidence that you're using to back up what you're saying, because you're going to have a bunch of people, if you're posting this on Instagram or something like that, almost guaranteed if it's got an opinion in it, you're going to have about 5 million people dumping on it just because it's Tuesday or something. So you've got to have the evidence to back it up. It can't be an op-ed piece, an opinion piece. So think of it as like a more detailed, more structured version of one of your critical thinking exercise. Though it doesn't have to be based on one of those. It can be some other issue that's come up. The other two key things, small things. One is the reaction papers. I have a fair number of reaction papers, sorry, in this class. I have videos I want you to watch, and I'll ask a set of questions, and I want you to respond to those questions. The responses are the reaction papers. Reaction papers are not graded for length. They're not graded for the level of detail, but I do want you to respond to the video and to the questions I'm asking in the video. And that's the reason I want you to read those questions in advance, is otherwise, why watch the video? You don't need to spend time on YouTube with my help. So watch the videos after looking at the questions and then react to them. Again, you're not based on spelling. It's not based on length. Just do them. And these are really important for one main reason. If you can't watch the videos and do the reaction papers, you're going to fail the class. If you don't have enough time management to watch a 10 or 15-minute video, how the hell do you think you're going to do the longer stuff? How do you think you're going to get the readings done? So the reaction papers aren't a big deal unto themselves, though I intentionally found ones that I think are interesting and relevant. So I think you'll enjoy them. But do them when they're scheduled to get done. Don't fiddle around and wait. Second thing is doing the map quizzes. There's this clever site that basically allows you to take quizzes, and you have a set of these that you have to do. And what I want you to do is what I want you to do is show me the score that you got when you took the map quiz. The reason for this is very simple. I don't expect you guys to be fantastic at understanding where we are in the world. Traditionally, America has the lowest rate of recognition of place on a map of any country in the world, including a lot of what we consider third world or developing countries. Most places on the planet and most people on the planet have a much better idea of both where they are and where other places are than Americans do. In a current context, I can guarantee if you went on the street, 9 out of 10 people would have no idea where Venezuela is. They probably wouldn't even have a particularly good idea of where Russia is, where the Ukraine is, or where China is. And that's terrifying, especially in the world that we live in. But that's the reality of it. So the map quizzes are a way to get you to think about other parts of the world and the places in them. And the map quizzes are all pre-structured. So again, what I want is the score that you get from doing the map quizzes. All of that is pretty much your grade. The critical thinking, the blog presentation, the map quizzes, and the reaction papers, that's your grade for the class. So keep up on schedule. Don't get behind. You've got a big semester. I'm sure you got a bunch of classes. This stuff is not challenging unless you start to procrastinate, at which point you're going to get yourself in a hole really quick. If you have problems, be sure to contact our counseling center. They're very good at things like time management, which is a huge problem for undergraduates in general. So don't think that you're, got your own problems. What your problem is probably a lot of people have that same problem. Do contact me if you have issues also. And like I said, at least for the first couple of critical thinking papers, I really want you to contact me before you start work on it, so I can tell you whether it's doable or whether you've just taken off to something too big, or in some cases, it might be something where I just don't think you're going to find any material. There's a bunch of issues with it that, for example, if you're looking at Russian Slavic identity, I don't think unless you can read Russian, I don't think you're going to find a lot of stuff in English that's actually relevant and recent. It's just not something that comes up a lot. So tell me what it is you're interested in doing. I'll tell you one whether it's doable, and try to help you out as much as I can. So that's it for the semester. That's the way it goes. You've got the detailed syllabus in Canvas of all your actual detailed assignments. So I think it's irrelevant. There's no course more relevant in 2026 than a world regional geography class. We live in a world. Our current government is heavily involved in fiddling with all sorts of the parts of the world around it. And so, not knowing this, where we fit in all this, just leaves you, at the mercy of an opinion of whoever's got anything better to say. So this is about as relevant a class as you can get. So I think you'll find the class useful. I think you'll find it in some ways pretty compelling. And so let's have a good semester.